Yo, what's up, guys? It's Shadobe here. I just got out of the shower. It's Christmas Day. It's past noon. I was gonna make this video sooner. However, I just pulled Hwayoung last night, so I was even waiting until I could confirm this with my own stats. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding Bystander Hwayoung, with people saying that she just doesn't do damage or anything like that. There's even other people making videos saying that she needs 4K attack and 350 crit damage as a baseline to even work. That's just blatantly not true. Uh, I've seen some people as well that they don't really have room to speak on it because they're PvE players, not RTA players, and this is an RTA unit. Uh, as you can see with mine, I'm 4.1k attack, 16k HP, 336 crit damage. I am missing crit chance right now, but it is a guaranteed crit on light units at the time being, and I can choose to slate her up to 99.8% crit chance if I really want to. But even with this damage feels excessive, honestly, and this is less damage than 4K 350. Or it's maybe around the same, but this damage feels excessive. Like, the idea that she doesn't do enough damage as is mind-boggling. Like, people apparently just want her to do 50k damage to every single unit in the game for free, really, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. That's not the point of her kit. She already has immune to debuffs, meaning you don't have to worry about Harseti Abyssal Crown stunning you or defense breaking you. She can only get pushback and reset, which is like, it's alright. It's not the biggest deal if she does. She still gets her passive nonetheless. She can't be sealed by ML Luna or Knockwall. She also can't be binded or anything like that, so that's like already huge on its own. She also has extinction as well, and most extinction units don't do a whole lot of damage, or they are gated by a specific mechanic to do a lot of damage, such as Specimen says they have to be stunned, or I guess now slept as well, to get that damage off, or LQC, they have to be a light unit, or I mean, sorry, a dark unit. And then now Bystander Hwayoung, they have to be a light unit to get that extra damage. There's other extinction units like top model Lulika who doesn't really do a lot of damage, and that's perfectly fine because she's a fast unit. And she was mainly made to counter Arby, who is not really a bulky unit. So there's always something that goes into these extinction kits that kind of balances them out, because the idea is if you have a high damage character like, say, Galililius, well, with this damage, I can, pretty reliably one-shot high HP units, but they can be revived, or they can also be protected by Aureus and, barriers and whatnot. Hwayoung, she ignores damage reduction and damage sharing effects. That you don't find that with other nukers like Gala, or people compare her damage to Rylet a lot. Rylet still has to abide by Aureus and Proof of Valor. Bystander Hwayoung does not. She literally gets to ignore two very big things that contribute to units not killing. So I find this argument as she's a bad unit, or she needs a buff, or her damage is weak. It's a really silly argument. I can kind of understand maybe struggling to get all the stats for it, but that doesn't mean she's a bad unit. Like, I can pull this off with 16k HP. There are people that can pull it off with just less HP. And she doesn't even need that much speed. I'm 150 speed, and I honestly think it's perfectly fine. I don't think she needs to be 200 speed. I don't think she necessarily needs to be base speed. And you can even go less damage overall. There's people that have her on a counter build that's like, I've seen like 3.7k attack, around 280 crit damage, but they're like 20k HP, and they're a counter unit, so they're going to be paired with like heavy mitt. So like Hwayoung, she's getting defense for free and all these other things, and she can still be paired with an Aureus Knight, so it's harder to kill her, or paired with ML Ilyanov, so it's harder to kill her through with penetration damage. Like, there's still a lot you can do, and she's getting a lot of just everything put into her kit that makes it so she doesn't need a buff. Now, I'll even go ahead and show you her actual damage here through my build. This is mine right here, 4.138. It's kind of cut off a little bit, 336 crit damage. And would you look at that? Oh man, what is this? What is this? 7k on an S1, 10k on an S3, 13k on a soul burn. I mean, that looks really bad. I can understand why you would think that looks bad. However, I am intentionally misleading you. This is 2k defense. This is hitting a target with 2k defense, and it's not a light unit. Now, if it is 2k defense and we put on a light unit, suddenly I'm doing almost 24k damage on a raw S3 and 33k damage soul burn on a light unit that has 2000 defense. That's a lot. Now, yeah, I get it. If they're 2k defense and they're not a light unit, it's not really going to do that much damage. But again, her purpose is to counter light units. So that's fine. So even if we want to hit another light unit, let's say they are 1800 defense. Well, now I'm doing 26k on my S3 and 36k soul burn. Again, that's like a lot of damage into these tanky units. Sure, it might not kill a 0 speed ML Ilyanov that has 2k defense and 33k HP. Sure, but that unit shouldn't really be getting one-shot by anything. They kind of built that unit to survive. So even getting off 26k damage into that Ilyanov that was built to survive, that's a lot of damage. And Hwayoung should not be your only DPS in the draft. As an aggro player who's gotten Emperor the past 3 seasons in a row, a unit like Bystander Hwayoung is an insanely good anchor for my drafts. Like, the fact that most of my units are going to be doing damage, and then I have Hwayoung, who's hard to kill, can't be controlled, and is gonna, like, just obliterate light units, that's insane, bro. Like, not to mention, Sigurd Scythe. I'm healing back when I'm below 50. And even the squishier light units, let's say 1500. 1500 defense and I'm doing 30k or 42k on a soul burn to a light unit. And then, if they're not a crazy knight, they only got 1500 defense, maybe less HP, and they're not a light unit, 13k, about 14k, that's not really that bad. That's still a good amount of damage. And again, you should be drafting other DPS units with her. And then 17k on a soul burn, like, I think this is perfectly fine. She has a incredibly good niche, which is countering light units, and light units are everywhere in the game right now. So, like, her existence is going to have a huge effect on drafts alone if people don't want to draft light units into her. And that's only if she's like first pick. If they already have light units and you third pick her and they can't ban her, like, they're just kind of doomed at that point. So anyways, yeah, she is a incredibly strong unit. You don't need her 4k 350. You don't need her to have like 4k 300 really. If you go counter or like some really degen build, like, you can get away with less damage. She does her job incredibly well. She is harder to gear for the newer players, of course, but that doesn't mean that she's a bad unit. That's not how that works. There's a lot of units that have a pretty hard gear requirement that, like, it's going to scale depending on where your rank is. A legend player is going to have a cracked Hwayoung. A emperor player is going to have a cracked Hwayoung. And they're also going to be fighting other units that have like equal amounts of gear. That's just how the game works. You're not going to be fighting a legend player Hwayoung in Masters or Challenger or Champion. It's going to be kind of respective to where your level of gear is as well, because that's why they're that rank. So anyways, that pretty much concludes my rant about Hwayoung. She is a strong unit. She does not need a buff. Should you pull her? I would say so. If you are wanting someone that gets rid of light units, I would say pull her if you can. If you're a free-to-play player and maybe you don't have a pity ready, I would, say maybe you can throw a few pulls in, see if you get her, or if you want to just save until you do have a pity ready for the next character, that's fine. But again, that's if you're free to play. I got her 90 from pity just by pure luck. I wasn't sure when I was going to get her or if I was going to have enough Skystone to refresh to get her. But yeah, she's a solid unit. She has a high win rate in every rank right now. So the people saying she's bad are clearly not RTA players, and I don't think you should be listening to them. I know for a fact there are multiple PvE players saying she is bad. Why would you listen to a PvE player about an RTA unit? That doesn't make sense. So, anyways, yep, that's my rant. Merry Christmas. Have a good one. Bye bye.